crazy. People are always in my fucking business worried about what I'm doing. What Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I go on vacation, my fault.
You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. Either for you to go Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
Oh my goodness, you guys, the drama is getting intense. Floyd Mayweather just came at Charleston White with some serious warning shots, basically telling him to back off this whole Big Meech situation or face some nasty consequences. But here's the tea, Charleston is not backing down. He's refusing to be bullied just for speaking his mind. So Charleston's been doing all these interviews since getting out of jail, and in one of them, he spilled all his thoughts about this Big Meech and 50 Cent drama. Now, Charleston did admit there's no actual proof that Big Meech snitched on anybody, but he also said 50 Cent was totally justified in going off because Big Meech and his son completely betrayed him by hooking up with 50's enemies. But one of those enemies, none other than Floyd Mayweather himself, was absolutely fuming about Charleston's comments. And now Floyd's made it crystal clear that if he ever runs into Charleston, it's on sight.
Let this be a perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who you put on. That's Lil Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put Lil Meech on BMF without any acting skills.
You guys, this Big Meech drama is absolutely boiling over at this point, and it's dragging practically everyone down with it. The latest victims? Floyd Mayweather and Charleston White. And trust me when I say it's getting messy. In a recent interview, Charleston shared his thoughts on this never-ending beef between Big Meech, Lil Meech, and 50 Cent, and he dropped some jaw-dropping bombshells. He kicked things off by saying he doesn't really buy into 50 Cent's claims that Big Meech is a snitch because he hasn't seen any actual paperwork proving it. He totally called out people claiming Big Meech used Tammy Count to set up Cuffy and others, saying people seriously need to do their research before throwing around these kinds of accusations.
When you do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. So if you go do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. That's why you hadn't seen no paperwork. It's all hearsay. Somebody saying he told, or somebody saying he used Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy. Well, when you do your research and you look at the court documents that's on Big Meech, you see that Tammy Cowens took the stand and said that she did this on her own accord without Big Meech's knowledge.
But then Charleston did a complete 180 and sided with 50 Cent, putting Big Meech and his son on blast. He said he completely understands why 50 went off the way he did because 50 had Big Meech's back when literally no one else did, not even Rick Ross. 50 got Meech's son cleaned up, sent him to acting school, which 50 paid for, and then put him in a series that made millions of dollars for him while Big Meech was sitting in jail. 50 basically stepped in and became a father figure to Lil Meech. According to Charleston, anyone would be furious if they did what 50 did for someone, only for that person to turn around and link up with their worst enemies. He called Big Meech connecting with Rick Ross a total slap in the face and said both father and son deserve whatever revenge 50 throws their way.
I'm looking at it from 50 position. I go get your son. And at the time when I meet your son, he's not making the best decisions in life. You know, they say the people was strung out on them perks, and they like to pop them perks. 50 take him somewhat, I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for. It was hard finding somebody to play the role of Big Meech, so we picked your son. 50 according to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the family's, financial, over $5 million. He's helped them make. Nigga blew your son up, and we bring you back to life. Prior to the BMF series, Big Meech was buried alive. Wasn't nobody saying his name. Jeezy wasn't really shouting him out no more. He was buried alive. So 50 bring life back to him, put his son in a position, turn his son into a millionaire, and he actually turned out to be a pretty good actor. You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. For you to go fuck Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
If you remember, this whole mess started because Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross to get some cash to hold him over when he got out of jail. And honestly, none of this would have even happened if Lil Meech hadn't blown through all the money 50 put in his pocket when they worked together. 50 Cent felt completely violated when he discovered Big Meech had gone behind his back to collaborate with Rick Ross, which led to 50 exposing Big Meech as a snitch. At the time, Lil Meech confronted 50 in the DMs, trying to explain that Big Meech only did what he did because he desperately needed the money. He wrote, "They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram and now you managing Skilly Baby when I brought him around you first when you didn't even have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. I'm human. I go through my own shit, but I never switched up on you. F Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet shit is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life." It looked like Lil Meech was desperately trying to get back into 50's good graces, but 50's wasn't having any of it. Instead, he announced he was canceling the BMF series, basically cutting off Lil Meech's entire money supply. This exchange left people with seriously mixed feelings because while some thought Lil Meech was right to apologize, others believed he should have stood up to 50 for disrespecting his father. Boozy had some very strong opinions about this whole situation.
I was like, damn, seemed like him and 50 got a, because after that thing came out, how Meech was talking all, no, all y'all, I'm with my dad, but I ain't like his response, but it seemed like he got a genuine love for 50 Cent on him, and from when I was reading it, seemed like he caught in the middle, but he caught in the middle. That's what it seemed like from me reading it, but I'd have been like, you.
Right, because it's your father.
My daddy.
But you can't deny that 50 cutting Lil Meech off is going to seriously impact his income because 50 was the one who put him on in the first place. You'd think Big Meech and Lil Meech would at least try to get 50 to have a conversation about continuing the show, but that's not what they did at all. Instead, they drew a battle line by hanging out with more of 50's enemies, especially Lil Meech, who's been spotted chilling with Floyd Mayweather multiple times. Big Meech and Lil Meech have posted tons of photos of them hanging out with Floyd and Rick Ross over the past few weeks. Lil Meech even shared a bunch of photos with both men while they were kicking it at the Lucky Strike bowling alley in Miami. He captioned the photo, "Real Power," which honestly sounded like a direct shot at 50. In another post, Lil Meech shared photos of himself, his father, and Floyd at some undisclosed location. More recently, he shared a video of him and Floyd having the time of their lives sitting courtside at a Lakers game. With their ongoing beef with 50 Cent, there's absolutely no way you can convince anyone they didn't do this intentionally to get under 50's skin. As you know, 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been sworn enemies for years. The beef started because Ross felt like 50 gave him a dirty look on stage when they performed together. From that moment on, it was all-out war between them. They've dissed each other through songs and interviews. 50 never misses a chance to throw Ross back to his Officer Ricky days. He believes Ross is just pretending to be a gangster while actually being a correctional officer at heart. In a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood, he literally called Ross a fraud.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. Because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to and saying I'm going to do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath, is going to say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after, like, you notice.
In another interview, 50 called Rick Ross completely irrelevant, saying he doesn't respect his career at all. As for Rick Ross, he also hates 50 and believes he's nothing but a big bully.
I took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you since for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this shit personal.
With Rick Ross, you can kind of understand where all the drama is coming from. But with Floyd Mayweather, it's actually shocking that they hate each other so much now because they used to be as tight as brothers. Floyd and 50's beef is probably the messiest drama 50 has ever been involved in, which is saying a lot because 50 takes his feuds very seriously. Back in the day, 50 and Floyd went everywhere together. They even appeared on the cover of XXL together, proving just how loyal they were to each other. But everything changed in 2012 when Floyd got convicted of domestic violence and was sent to jail for a few months. While Floyd was locked up, 50 stepped up and tried to manage Floyd's companies, TMT, the Money Team Boxing Promotion, and Mayweather Promotion Company, because Floyd asked him to. But 50 quickly discovered the work was way more than he bargained for because the businesses weren't even properly registered. 50 had to start everything from scratch after investing $1 million of his own money into fixing Floyd's mess. When Floyd got out of jail, he completely turned against 50. He refused to match 50's investment or pay back what he owed and started accusing 50 of trying to take over his company while he was away. While Floyd was running this smear campaign, 50 and others were busy organizing a Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign, which was basically a fundraiser like the one Rick Ross wanted to do for Big Meech.
As he was actually going in to jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather promotion.
Right.
Then as you know, as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather Confronts. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated, it's just
the name.
Yeah,
that comes out people's mouths.
Right. See, technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. You see what I'm saying? He fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like
every
the
show.
negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They built the whole show. So when he says helping with Mayweather promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to
get it together.
Put it together for him. So I do TNT promotions. I get it all the way together. Sign the actual fighters. We had acquisition of Gamboa. It's like I negotiated a release. It was 1.2 million. Andre Durrell, IBF champion Billy Dip, WBA champion Celestino Calabero. You know, so we brought them over. I brought him over while Floyd was incarcerated.
Yeah.
Then he comes home. There's the Let's Get Floyd Back in the Pocket campaign. It goes on where it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Cause you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back? But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like let him cool his heels before.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when? But see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. So I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Well, I gotta ask you for it.
Right.
And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
And I'm looking at him and he looked in my face and he told me to do that.
You know 50 is big on loyalty, so there was no way he was going to let Floyd get away with spreading false stories about him. But when 50 finally responded, he ended up looking like the bad guy. Floyd doubled down, calling 50 a male boxing groupie with a failed music career. At first, they told the media they had reconciled and were back to being friends, but their relationship quickly went from bad to worse, with both throwing non-stop jabs at each other. Floyd would mock 50 for having a terrible relationship with his son Marquise, while 50 would expose Floyd for sleeping with his best friend's woman.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance, said that nigga.
At one point, 50 even accused Floyd of being involved in the tragic deaths of Earl Hayes and his wife Jessica. 50 said, "Tell everybody while you was on FaceTime when he killed Jessica and himself because he was confronting you about effed his wife." But just when it looked like 50 might back down, he went straight for the jugular. He challenged Floyd to read a single page of Harry Potter, promising to donate $750,000 to any charity of Floyd's choice if he could do it.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to. The bucket of ice, man.
Even though Floyd clapped back by posting photos of checks totaling over $72 million, proving he didn't need to stoop to 50's level, Floyd could never shake off those illiterate man allegations. In response, Floyd challenged 50 to get in the ring and settle their beef the old-fashioned way. Although there were rumors the fight would happen in 2014, it never did. Fast forward to 2018, Floyd made another petty move by inviting Teaira Mari, who was suing 50 for revenge porn, to perform at his nightclub. This was the absolute last straw for their friendship, and Floyd cemented their hatred by dragging 50 in an open letter on Instagram. He called 50 a snitch, mocked him for having a failed music career, and called him a bitter, jealous person who couldn't even maintain a decent relationship with his son. It was a full-on attack that completely destroyed any remaining shred of brotherhood between them.
Stop it! Hold up! Keep going! Keep going! Hold on, B. We gonna get this work. I tried to give him the large picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster!
On the surface, it seems weird that 50 is going after Lil Meech, who had nothing to do with his father's alleged snitching, with so much venom. But 50 finally shared his side of the story when Boozy called him out for transferring aggression onto Lil Meech. He said, "I did more for Meech than anyone in his life, Boozy. That's why he responded like that. If he gets locked up, I'm the first person he calls, bailed him out every time. When I saw him laughing at his pop's post, I said, oh, he a snake too, he belongs with him." In another post, 50 talked about how he got Lil Meech into rehab and gave him advice on managing his finances. He said, "I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Meech's relationship. I'm telling Meech I don't want him doing drugs. He telling him he used to do X like it's cool. I tell Meech, chill, stop spending all your money. He telling him how much money he had. People don't know I had to send Meech to rehab. Russell Hornsby noticed he was high as F on set. He started throwing up at a weapons test. Then Ian told me the little N had whippets in his truck. I said, what the F is whippets? I looked it up. It's the S that be in baby guns. If someone has done this much for your family, the absolute least you can do is not embarrass them publicly by hanging out with their enemies and plastering the photos all over social media. This is why, according to Charleston White, Big Meech's biggest mistake was posting that video of him and Rick Ross on social media and then posting another video denying the snitch allegations.
Meech's biggest mistake was getting on camera with Rick Ross, running to the internet. Rick Ross was wrong for putting Big Meech out there knowing he doing bidding with 50. Rick Ross using Meech. Rick Ross using him, only knowing that there's a beef between me and this guy. So to do this video and then put it out there was a slap in the face to 50. And I done put everybody in position. Now, I'm with 50. While you were gone, Rick Ross didn't reach out to your son, try to put him in his position where he can make $5 million. Did nobody reach out to you? Rick Ross didn't give you no money off using your name, your likeness or whatever in that song. He didn't give you no kickback for that. So if he really fucking with you, He could have put the concert on without putting you in the mix. But they playing tit for tat. So 50 ain't wrong.
Even if there was a chance for 50 to let go of the Rick Ross thing and move forward with the series, Lil Meech and his daddy ruined everything by linking up with Floyd Mayweather. As for Floyd, it's crystal clear he knows exactly what's going on between Big Meech and 50 Cent, and he's just using the father and son as pawns in his own drama with 50. But what do you guys think? Will Floyd actually come through for Big Meech and his son, or is this all just an elaborate scheme to get under 50's skin? Drop your thoughts down below and stay tuned for more juicy videos just like this one. Videos just like...